It's Tuesday night in wrestling. It's wrestling time, and you've tuned into Kicking Out of Two. We've got hot takes, big debates, and of course, your favorite wrestling moments. So let's go. Back by popular demand, he, she's, theys, and all those who slay. Welcome to Kicking Out of Two. I am Michael. With me, as always, is my auditory tag team partner, Tori. Tori, how are you?
That's so solid. That was Kai, right?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
my wonderful child. So let's go ahead and just start into high gear here. We're going to go ahead and start right away with the news. Da 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 da. What? Well, the news thing didn't want to come up apparently, so now we're just going to have to do it manual. Stupid manual stuff. There we go. All right. So first of all, a couple of weeks now we've been talking about Mariah May rumors. Someone actually just specifically went ahead and asked SRS because he's one of the most talented people when it comes to getting this news and the behind the scenes stuff. Um, he says basically, is it true right now? No, not at this time. Despite heavy speculation that Mariah May is still under contract with AEW for several more months. There's not been any talks with her going to WWE. There's no internal documents going back and forth right now. There's nothing really showing that she's going to be going over there.
She hasn't been there that long.
Right.
Has she?
I mean, in theory, no. But then again, it could have been a short-term contract. Like that's the thing is, could have came
Okay.
in for a year, could have came in for a couple of years. It all depends on what they think's going to happen. And when she first started, she wasn't that big of a presence. Now, obviously, probably could
Right.
hold out for some good money because she's been doing a lot of good stuff. Um,
Absolutely.
but there's been a lot of clickbait flying around. But the reality is, Mariah May is all elite for now. WWE may want her, but they're just gonna have to wait.
Honestly, I don't I don't see her going.
I don't either.
I,
Um,
I just how is she any different other than the accent from what they already have?
right. Well, and
She's not.
on top of that, like, what do you have her come in and do? Where does she fit in? At least right now, she's a high profile name in a massive flow of talent that they have. So it would be kind of a dumb idea to try to go over there and make a name for yourself when you're already a name where you are. At least for a couple more years, try to build your name up to where you're, as one of the wonderful wrestlers out there right now says, undeniable. Until you're
Yeah.
undeniable, then like why not just hang out where you are and keep doing what you're doing? Um, Cody Rhodes and Wheatley Vodka are having an extension. He has been promoted by them for a while now. They are apparently in the long haul. They have a multi-year
Yeah.
extension that's happened now.
They're gonna bring back his YouTube show, I
Yeah,
guess it was.
that what do you want to talk about? Um, so new season of
Which
that
is
incoming.
solid because it just gives him a chance to get in there and shoot the shit with people.
Yeah. They've already talked about like the last season that they had. We had our Truth, we had LA Knight, we had our Randy Orton. A lot of good people that showed up on it already. Love to see who we could get in the future. Bring up some new information, new talent. Um, but basically, we're going to keep all the stuff. You're going to keep the brand synergy. So Cody's Bus will continue to be wrapped in the Wheatley branding that it's already been done.
Yeah, because why not?
Yeah. Um, Folks in Kentucky, which is where Wheatley is from, they call it a huge win for the brand. Um, Cody's not just face the WWE, but he's a crossover brand himself. So he's able to bring
Definitely.
that notoriety to that brand of whiskey. I haven't tried that whiskey yet. I want to try that whiskey. Um,
I'm gonna take your word for it because I don't like whiskey.
See, no, I'm a good with any whiskey. Uh, even that turkey trash. Um, I'll even do that. Um, Jay White injury. We talked about it a little bit last week, but just to kind of throw it in there. So he did get hurt. He hurt his hand when he faced off with Kevin Knight on March 29th. The plans are right now he may need surgery to get it resolved and fixed.
Shit.
So with that being the case, he's probably going to be out for a while. He was set to face Will Ospreay at Dynasty. We know Knight filled in for him and did a phenomenal job.
And apparently, yeah, I was going to say everything I've read about that match was amazing.
That will be where you and I can watch it tonight. So we'll watch it tonight or tomorrow, and maybe Thursday we'll just kind of fill in with our thoughts on it. Any results or anything. We also need to talk about.
Gaming? Are we gaming Thursday?
Yeah, it's still the plan.
Okay, then I got to get my shit set up in here.
Just let me know if you end up not, and then like we'll just do a regular show. It's fine. So no rush there. Obviously, Tori has said it a few weeks in a row now of like she's in the process of doing a move from one area to another. So definitely.
And there's a TV in here, but the power outlets in this room was apparently this wall over here used to be the end of the house. So there's like hardly any electrical in this side of it. There's like one outlet out there, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just going to be a matter of cabling and so on.
All right. Well, be careful. Don't do that yourself, and turn off breakers because good lord. But there's also a Orange Cassidy update. He's out for potentially a long stretch as well. Mark Davis also might be. Sorry, Mark Davis.
Mark Davis was out.
Yeah, Mark Davis is also out, but he's actually supposed to come back pretty quickly, so he might be used a little bit more during this time. So hopefully he'll get some more play out of it. I mean, we don't want to see anybody hurt, but at least if those two big names are out for a while, it gives some opportunities to some people that we don't get to see a lot of.
Well, and it's funny because I just saw the video of Chelsea talking about Cardona telling her, make the most of the minutes you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a 30, like that Rumble where she got thrown out and got back in and got thrown right back out.
Mm-hmm.
We're still talking about that.
Yep.
She got thrown out twice in the same Rumble without changing characters. Yep. I'm putting the Mick Foley asterisk there.
Same Chelsea came in.
Yeah. So she's doing all the right things because she maximized her minutes. When she was on TV, it's entertaining.
It is. It's absolutely entertaining. Like I think about the ladder match, where she went down and went through the tables. I don't remember jack about the rest of that ladder match. I remember her going through those tables off that ladder.
Yeah.
That's what I remember from that. So yeah, maximize your minutes, obviously. So if Mark Davis can get some time out of that, or someone else can get some time out of it, let's do it. One thing that I thought was going to end up being one of our 3 counts, didn't end up being one of our 3 counts. So I'm going to put it in the news because it was big news. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton had a face-to-face on a SmackDown. There's a lot of speculation about it because it seemed to at one point just kind of break down. And there's a lot of news of like that could have been because they went off script and started getting really personal with it.
So everything I read about it from different sources, so I'm not putting this on one person. There's been heat between them for a couple of weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
They like genuinely don't like each other.
Apparently, that's what I'm seeing too.
And something like from everything I saw from watching the promo and everything I've read, basically one comment was made, and we jumped the shark. It was over. Like they went off the rails on each other. Tiffany hitting her with that 0-3 comment was a bit far. And Charlotte trying to clap back with Kaiser being in her DMs. No, he's not. Stop it.
Well, and
nobody believed that.
He even replied to that, which is fun.
Right. So the 0-3 comment was rough.
Yeah.
Like it. If you have had this conversation, like Becky and Bayley, some of the stuff that was said between them, you know they had those conversations.
Right.
This was not that.
It wasn't. And like I don't want to put the onus on Charlotte on this one, but you are the veteran. And yeah, the 0-3 comment was out of pocket. However, it did seem like it was rough before that. I mean, she was making fun of the high-pitched voice. I can't hear you. Like it was very antagonistic versus being a good promo.
So. Well, and Charlotte, she let the crowd get to her, which is really unusual.
Yeah, well, and I kind of wonder if that's where it started because, I mean, at that point, it was Tiffany wasn't even in the ring yet, and they were already kind of, hammering Charlotte with some pretty rough chants. But you have to keep your cool on that. The thing that gets me with Charlotte though is this is not the first time she's called an audible, and we kind of just brushed it under the rug. Uh, so I'm interested to see where
I
we go with this one. If this one gets brushed under the rug again, or if we actually get it called out of like, look, she
I
called
would
an audible.
I would not be surprised if she was supposed to win that title, if that hasn't changed.
Maybe.
I don't think she was. I think this was
Oh yeah, I think it's a passing of the
Tiffany's
torch.
moment.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, I'm not saying this in a bad way. I won't be surprised if we don't see Charlotte for a bit. They're not going to pull her out of Mania 2 weeks
No.
ahead,
No, they're not.
but I won't be surprised if they take her off TV for a little bit because she needs to get her shit together.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, she came back at the Rumble. She got divorced before that. We found out here
Kept it
recently
quiet.
and kept it quiet. So I mean, she hasn't really dealt with that then. Um, and so maybe that's what finally snapped is when the 0-3 comment popped
Yeah,
up. It's like, oh, like she still hasn't dealt with it yet, maybe, and that's why it
right.
got so hard for her. I do know
Well,
that WWE has edited out those parts for all their digital, so that
but
little moment's not there anymore.
screen captured forever.
Yeah.
So
Um.
the other side of it is Andrade tweeted at her.
Yeah.
I think it was her birthday or after.
Hmm.
So yeah, they may be divorced, but apparently he still. I mean, obviously he still cares. Because if he didn't, you just don't get involved. That's not your situation. Stay out of it.
Right.
And
Um.
he put himself in it,
Yeah. He put himself there. All reports are
which
saying right now though that management's not happy with what happened.
I'm sure they're not.
So we're gonna have to see where that goes. I mean, it went sideways, but the segment has buzz. Like it's something we're talking about. Um, so maybe this feud, if they can get their shit together, can cement Tiffany. If we can get us to WrestleMania a little less scathed than we already are. So
I'm real curious to see what Friday does, what this Friday and next Friday are.
yeah, because we're 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
We gotta get our shit together and get it actually talked about, turn around a little bit. Um, so we started this off talking about a free agency. TJP hits free agency. So apparently he is not signing with New Japan anymore. He declined their contract.
okay.
So
Because he said in that interview with Jess that he was
that he was currently with them, and
and he
that
was
was the plan.
talking to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He specifically said though that there's no bad blood about it. He's just decided he's going to work freelance, which more power to him. I mean, it's wrestling is in a boom period again, and you can hang out in freelance and make some good money. Cardona's still out there kicking it, and
Cardona's. How long is he? When did he get released?
oh, it's been years. Um, while you're doing that though, he did pass on the Super Juniors. Apparently, they wanted to spotlight him there, and he said no.
Really?
He they had some upcoming in New Japan shows that they wanted him on. He just said that he wasn't locking in for those. So currently his resume, but as far as titles are concerned, he's a former WWE Cruiserweight champ. He's a 3-time IWGP Junior Tag champ. So like he's got the credentials that he could run.
Did he win the X Division in TNA as Suicide?
I believe he did. I don't. It's one of those like who was under the mask at the time, because he was under the mask, but so
He was one of several.
yeah, so was a few other people.
Cardona left in 2020, so here we are
5 years
5 years later. Cardona's the king of the indies.
Yeah. So absolutely,
Like,
TJP can make some money out there.
100%. People can say what they want to about Cardona. That man is the king of the indies. He's worked his ass off. He's worked with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do it.
He has options. Obviously, he's going to keep his flexibility open, but maybe AEW, maybe Impact. I don't see him coming back to the E. he just doesn't fit in the Fed, and
He
that's
doesn't.
nothing against him. He's just innovative of his own right, and so he doesn't really kind of fit that mold. Now, if he's willing to come back and learn more of the WWE style and try that out, then more power
Right.
to him. But I definitely see more in AEW or Impact out of him, which they'd be nuts if they didn't try to lock him down. Um, but all power to him in the future, though. Like, and definitely, you mentioned the interview. Anybody who's watching, one of the partners, one of the friends of the show, Princess Jess, had an interview with him not too long ago. Go back and see that on her channel. Great guy. She also even got one for his wife. Did an interview with his wife as well. So it was good there. Um, so we'll see what happens. What was that look for?
Jordan Grace went for a dive and it did not go well.
Oh, that's not good.
She tweeted about it, so I mean she's okay, but it just didn't go well. She was wrestling Jada.
Yeah, she was wrestling
She
Jada
went to
tonight.
dive and just kind of got caught up in the ropes.
All right. Well, now that we've ran down the latest in the wrestling world, it's time to shift gears. Before we go on to the 3 count, though, I do want to go ahead and, because of the recent interview we did, because of the TikToks we've been doing lately, and in the YouTube Shorts, we got a lot more. I'm Mario all of a sudden. Lot the more. It's me, Michael. My bad. Sorry, I'm off kilter. My daughter's texting me,
You're
so
good. You're good.
thinking off here. I kind of wanted to double back and just kind of explain who we are and what we're doing. Um, I think I've told this story a few times, so if you want to take it as far as like who we are and what are we doing here.
Oh no, that's all you.
Okay, fair enough. Um, Well, let's go ahead and just start with we started this podcast because we've been friends for over 19 years. Um, Hard to believe that we have kept each other around that long because we're both assholes.
No. It's not a matter of kept each other around. It's a matter of we both know too much, so we can't let the other one go.
That's valid. Um, so, absolutely. First time we ever met each other was in a call center that we worked together. I'll go ahead and leave the name of that call center quiet because we don't need to give them any free advertisement, that's for sure. But we met there. Both of our partners at the time had become friends, and we're talking, and we're just kind of standing there like two idiots, trying to figure out what part of this conversation we're going to jump into. And then one of them had mentioned that the other likes wrestling, and then
And we both went, what?
we both perked up. I was like, what? And so started talking about wrestling, and just have been friends ever since. Have seen quite a few live events together. Spent a lot of WrestleManias watching it together. But
Watched a lot of pay-per-views together.
the big thing
Both
is
WCW and WWE.
I am not a phone person. I hate being on the phone. It's probably from all those years of being in call centers. But the one person that I could talk for hours, whether it's on the phone or in person, has always been Tori. And we would talk nonstop, usually about wrestling. And that's just kind of the basis of what we would talk about. Whether it's dream booking stuff, talking about how good stuff is currently or how bad stuff is currently. And so after one moment that we had during a WrestleMania match of the Great Khali chopping the Undertaker and beating him. Sorry, it wasn't a WrestleMania match because he didn't beat him at WrestleMania. I don't know what I'm thinking there. But yeah, beats him with a Khali chop. Tori had went off on a rant that was just the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And so we had talked about like that should have been recorded. We should have had that on tape. We should have somehow be able to keep that in perpetuity.
This was long before podcasts were really a thing, too.
Yes. I think I wouldn't say podcasts in general, but wrestling podcasts weren't really a thing. I think the only one around at the time was the Podfather himself, which is Colt Cabana. I think he was the only one doing it at that time. But even then, it was more just kind of like a road stories thing, as he'd get in a car with a couple of indie wrestlers and they would talk into a mic for a while, and That was kind of their thing. So more of like a vlog, an audio vlog or blog, I guess. Um, so we've always said that we wanted to do it, and then at this point, I think it was about 2 years ago. At this point, someone asked me the other day, like, how
Yeah.
long have we been doing it? And I'm like, I think it's been about 2 years.
It popped up on my thing not too long ago, and I was like, okay.
All right. Um, we decided to do it. I had gotten some, you know, late night YouTube looking and trying to figure out how do we make it work? How do we do it? And we went from being on Spotify to being on YouTube to being on Twitch to being back on YouTube, um, and now being on
X came
X.
in because of all of our friends that do this.
Yeah. And it was just us talking about stuff. And you can definitely go back and check our lexicon that we have on YouTube and see how we've changed formats quite a bit over the years. We had a lull there for a while because we did the same thing everybody else does, is we would just watch the show and then go through the show and then end the podcast, and that was really it. And then TikTok became a big thing, and we started doing those. And then I found out that doing hard work on TikTok doesn't get you likes. So, so we still do a lot of TikToks, but it's usually just our show chopped up, rather than us doing skits and stuff, which I've actually thought, and this is just maybe something that we do every once in a while, is throwing some of those things into the show, just because some of them were fun. I did like doing some of those things, like the
What things?
who better, or, or the I need five, or any of
Gotcha.
those
No, I'm down. That
old
works.
things. Just kind of put them in the show just because they were fun. We do like the Twitter topic at the end of the Tuesday show. Maybe that's something we do like on our game shows on Thursdays or on the
Yeah.
pay-per-view watch-alongs or something, just to kind of have a little fun thing in there. So maybe that'll come back, maybe that won't. But anyway, so yeah, we started just for that, and since then we've made a lot of friends, a lot of wonderful shows that we'd love to be on, and they like to be on ours once in a while, which blows my mind that there are people out there with thousands of followers. We're not there yet, but that don't mind hanging out with us, and so that's a lot of fun, and hopefully we continue to do that. But with that, we're going to go and turn over to the 3 count. So it's still not working. That's weird. Okay, I'm going to have to mess with that later. So 3 count. It's hard to decide who's going to start it this week because you and I both have things that we can probably go on for a long time. So yours is the first on my call sheet, so I'm going to go ahead and say you go first here. So your number one, Braun Breaker spears the world, which has gone so viral at
So
this
the funny
point.
thing is, Carlito tweeted about his own funeral.
Yep.
I was like, that's fucking great.
What's even better to me, like that's Carlito. He's having fun with that. Moose actually quote tweeted it and said, "Welp, I need a new move," because he's not gonna beat that. That was a hell of a spear.
It wasn't just the spear.
No.
It was the leap into the spear
Mm-hmm.
that just made it so much better.
Well, and the funny thing to me was, like, we already know he books it. He runs so damn fast. But the leap had so much power and speed behind it that the camera lost him for a second because it was just
And
like
he rolled through it.
yeah. So
like he hit him so hard, he rolled through it.
Yeah, it was such a good hit. There's a lot of talk as far as like the spears and such that so many people do it right now. You got Jay that does it. It's Roman's move for all intents and purposes. On the other show, Moose does it. Charlotte does one. Like everybody seems to do a spear, but good Lord, I think he won the spear. Like
yeah, that was honestly, that's one of those. Once Jay gets past Mania, change his finish. Either go back to the splash or come up with something else.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm them after how good Braun's spear has gotten, I'm taking it away from everybody.
Yeah.
Males and females. I don't care who it is. Nobody else is doing the spear.
The only one that I question that on is Roman, and that's just because it's been his thing for a while. What I would think about doing is I would pull a rhino and just not call it a spear. Like you rename that thing because it's its own damn thing at this
Yeah,
point.
you could do that. That definitely would work. But I watched that and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, Carlito flipped on impact. That's not a sell. That's an exorcism. Like that, he lost his soul because of that. Um, and then of course he goes in and he ends up, you know, turning his attention to his opponents for WrestleMania and taking them out too. But I mean, I have seen that clip. I guarantee you no less than 25, 26 times just since I got off work on Twitter.
Carlito's tweet was, "Thank you everyone for your thoughts and prayers. My funeral service is scheduled for this Friday. My family asked for privacy during this painful time."
Bless you, Mr.
I
Cologne.
I look, this is one of those things that I absolutely love. Like, people are doing this, and the fact that they're getting into, somebody said put an apple in the sky for, oh,
Put an apple in the sky for Carlito.
oh, these quote tweets are amazing.
Pour out,
Oh shit.
pour out some apple juice for the man.
Right? Pour one out with Zapple juice. Um, I just Carlito has done nothing of substance since he got back.
Yeah.
He really hasn't. Him coming back where he did at Puerto Rico was amazing. They've brought him back whenever they did. Like, okay, but he hasn't done anything that mattered.
Right.
No one's ever forgetting about this. Like when Braun goes in the Hall of Fame, this highlight is making his reel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's making Carlitos too because he died. So when they put
Well,
him in as a posthumous
so-
induction,
this is the memoriam. Yeah, this is going to be the new uh, world slide.
Titus World Slide. That's
Yeah,
exactly
in
what
my
I was
opinion.
thinking of.
It'll be the thing that we'll see this in snap videos and everything going for the next few years, which is awesome to think. Just for the fact that I know we're going to cut this out probably for the TikTok audience and for the YouTube short audience. Who do you guys think has the best spear in history? Because obviously we've seen it through Edge, Roman, Goldberg, Braun. Like where
A
do
lot of them.
all these people? Who has the best spear?
Right now, I say it's bronze.
Right now,
It's
I don't disagree.
It's not just the move, it's the speed, it's the impact, it's and to their credit, it's the way his people are selling that.
Right.
They are making it look so good.
I do kind of wonder, like, we don't get to hear current people talk about like how hard hitting people are yet. I have heard people say how big Goldberg's was because Goldberg didn't give you an option. You
No,
were
you were
selling that spear whether you wanted to or not.
Right.
And so I wonder if that's kind of where we are with Braun. If it's just like they make it look so good just because he doesn't give you a choice. You're going
Right.
to sell it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, your number 2. Booker swerves us after the promo. Is what I decided to name this one. Basically, just Swerve went off script and
Okay.
had a moment.
I do feel like some context is necessary here.
Yeah.
Booker made a comment on his show, or it was either on Twitter or on his show. Something was said about representation,
Mhm.
and he's like, maybe you're just not good enough, basically. And I'm paraphrasing. There was a lot more he said to it, but that was the long and short of it, is be better.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I felt like that was a terrible take. At the time, I was like, that's a terrible take. Because are you not watching the product at the other shows?
Mm-hmm.
The women's division in NXT, there is a crap load of non-Caucasian people.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve has been in how many main events in the past year and a half?
Yep.
I just, to me, it was a very out of touch comment.
It was, and one of the big things that dug into a lot of people of color in the business, and specifically Swerve, because Swerve then went on an interview show later to kind of combat some of that, which I don't want to say he wanted to combat that. I do want to be specific because Booker has said this, and I do know that a lot of these shows are kind of like that. The show pushed it in that direction. The host of that show did very much kind of drive him to, well, what do you have to say against that? And
Yeah.
then what are you going to do? You got to say something. But one of the big things that kind of stuck in his craw about it was Booker saying, "Hey, I've been here for years, standing side by side with Vince McMahon and Triple H, and I have been a good representation for African American wrestlers," and that took Swerve a little sideways.
So Swerve, after the pay-per-view, gets on the mic, and again, I'm not going to go through everything he said, but at the end of it, he just said, "Fuck Booker T."
Mhm.
And I was like, ooh,
And to be
okay.
clear, that was the end. He said that, he dropped the mic,
He
and
said
he
that, he
left.
threw the mic and he walked.
Yeah,
That was literally a mic drop moment.
yeah,
Um, so of course, on Booker T's show yesterday, he addressed it right away. He basically said, I don't have a problem with what he said. I have a problem with when he said it,
hmm
and not for the reason you think. He said, because now we're not talking about Dynasty and all these great matches. We're talking about Booker T.
hmm
And he's not wrong. Like, people can get mad about what he said all they want to. What he said, he's not wrong. We're
yeah.
not talking about Dynasty's matches. We're not even talking about Tony Storm at the press conference reading the Man from Nantucket poem, which was fucking hilarious.
Or
And
the
the look on
Waffle
Tony
House
Khan's
guy
face.
again.
Look, she wanted a crappy question. She went to the right person. Everybody knew what we were getting.
I almost guarantee that was a setup. They're like,
100%.
it's the Waffle House guy. Hey, do the
Yep.
question.
Yep. But we're not talking about that stuff. We're talking about Booker T.
Yeah. One quote from there that I specifically want to say is, like, first of all, he was very calm and collected through the entire show, which is good. Like, that's good that he stayed calm about it. But he said, "You won't hear me put you over again." And that's because that does show that, like, there's something there, that he's got the talent. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic. But that was a poor choice of when to do that.
Right. Had he come out on Wednesday and done it after Dynamite? Had he done it after Collision? Because this was said sometime last week.
Right.
Like, this had been a conversation for several days. Now, I'm pretty sure Collision was pre-recorded, so he may not have been able to. But that was not the time, because like Booker said, we're not talking about Swerve's match.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the Young Bucks coming back and screwing him over to set up anarchy in the arena. We're not talking about that.
Right.
We're talking about Booker T. An AEW pay-per-view just happened, and they always put on a banger, and we're talking about Booker T. He's not wrong.
He's not. And
This
it hurts to say that too.
Fully expected. When I saw that clip, I thought, here comes a shitty take. And he was like, his timing was wrong, because now we're talking about me and not their show.
Yeah. Rather than talking about AEW and what a great show they had and all the wonderful performers that were on it, we're talking about the end of the night where he decided he was going to, go off script and say something about someone that's part of the competition. And that seems to be more often than not. And by no means do I want anybody to see this and think that I don't realize that other companies do it. WWE does it all the time. They just had it not too long ago. John Cena telling Cody, "You take billionaires' kids' money." Like,
you started a promo and left.
Yeah.
When you couldn't hack it or something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
like, he brought it up.
They both bring up each other, but it's just how you do it and when you do it. And this was a bad time to do it. You just had the situation where you got put in through glass. You should have limped off after that, licking your wounds. You had your little laugh moment, your Undertaker laugh moment, in pain, that moment. You had that. Limp off now. Come back stronger. This was not the time to do that.
No. Well, the glass thing was on Wednesday with Dynamite.
Oh, that's right. That was on
And
Wednesday. You're right.
then,
You're right.
but he lost the match. I'm fine with him being out there talking. This
Yeah.
was not the time to say that because now we're talking about Booker T.
Yeah. I do kind of
I gotta
wonder.
grab something. Keep going.
Go ahead. I do kind of wonder if this ties into a little bit of a question that was asked to Tony at the press conference, though, of what were his thoughts of sending the crowd home on a down, because that's kind of a thing that you hear from time to time, is that in big pay-per-view situations you always want the people to go home happy, and so in this case they went home down because of the way that the show ended. But was this his way of fighting back against that, Swerve being he, to try to add something to the end of the night to get people pumped or laughing or get them, ired up, whatever the situation is? Was it him trying to bring the crowd into a better headspace than where we would have left it on the pay-per-view? I don't know.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, your number 3, Jey Uso's promo, the calm before the collision.
Here's the thing. I
I'm
have said
gonna get a picture of the thing every time you say that. To put, here's the thing.
I have said I didn't care about this feud.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. It was lackluster. It was not important. I just didn't care. I sure as fuck care now.
Yeah.
He got the crowd to stop yeeting while he did this promo to make it more important.
I'll say mostly, which I have a thing about that, but I'll talk about that after you're done here.
He got that. He made a point of saying, we're not doing that now.
Yeah,
knock the noise off because I'm
constantly trying to push them down while they're doing it.
So my camera's being wonky.
I saw that you were fuzzy. I figured you were gonna try to toggle it.
But it's one of those things that, and when Gunther picked up the mic and he slapped it out of his hand, I went, "Oh shit!"
Mm-hmm. This
wasn't Jey having fun. This wasn't everything we've been getting from Jey. This was not it.
Well, this is what Jimmy specifically said the other week, which is, we need main event Jey Uso back. He was not a guy, which, here's the thing, I'm all about it. I understand it. I was a Hulkamaniac back in the day, so I understand the flash, the glamour, 5 moves versus, doing a whole move set, all that stuff. Like, I get that. He makes more money and sells more merch if he goes out there and yeets and has fun and all that stuff. I get that.
Right.
But this showed that he's more than that. And this is kind of where I wanted to get with, like, to the entire thing, he's kind of, his hands going off to the side. He's kind of, trying to get people to stop.
Right.
I think the fact that they wouldn't completely stop is WWE's fault.
Yes.
Because we have kind of relegated him to the yeet man.
Yep.
And so that was a bit of a problem. But no, this was perfect. Like, him flat out, like, I'm not afraid of you anymore.
And that's what I'm saying.
Line.
I just, absolutely. It was a great line. It was the seriousness, the tone, everything was perfect. Perfect.
Well, and give it to Gunther too, because the way he sold it,
and
made it so much better.
His facial expressions changing through it, and at the end going, "Oh shit!" Like, maybe I fucked up. I just, like I said, to me it was a foregone conclusion. Jey was winning.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about this feud had made me interested in this match beyond Jey's winning the title.
Yeah,
because he should. Sorry, I'm doing something for Mania too.
That's fine.
So now, I'm hella looking forward to this match because we're gonna get a different Jey Uso.
For sure. Um, to the point of Gunther, to me, like the change in perspective when one question was made. Do you have a mom? He said that, and it was just a complete like smile and smirk from Gunther's face, wiped away at that point. And then after everything that Jay said, almost every line, he was trying to interject. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, he's at that point of just trying to say, like, all right, maybe this went too far. Like,
Yeah.
he seems
And
remorseful
Jay's
about
like,
what he did.
nah, bitch, you started this and now I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah. We're at this point now because of what you did.
I just overall, this was the promo we needed. To me, we needed this like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now, does it sell me on the main event match, the Mania match now? Absolutely.
I do think if we would have done this a few weeks before, it might have still had the main event spot.
I don't think so. I don't think it was ever going to have an actual main event spot.
I think if enough people got it behind it, they couldn't deny it.
With what they have between Cena and Cody and then that triple threat, no. I don't think you could have gotten enough behind this to overcome that triple threat.
Not wrong.
But I do, and you had put it on the little thing here for about the best wrestler alive. I kind of want to do a fourth one because Bowens was amazing.
Hold on. Hold
Okay.
that thought.
Okay.
Because we'll go ahead and go straight into mine then, which the first one is the best sorcerer alive just
Nice.
squashed Max Caster.
Yes.
Because
the 5-tool player, which first of all is a great fucking name.
absolutely. He'd been throwing that around while they were together, but
he'd said it, but
yeah.
I hadn't. It hadn't landed with me.
Yeah.
It landed after Sunday.
It sure did. But just kind of lead up to it. So Max Caster comes out for his open challenge in Philly. He's wearing a Ben Simmons jersey, which, of course, it's cheap heat, but
okay, I don't know what's going on with Ben Simmons, so
it's the whole thing of it being against Philly. Just
did Ben Simmons leave?
I don't know. Maybe I don't understand. I thought it was just the opposing team's jersey. Like it's one of those like we're wearing someone else's jersey.
No, he left.
Oh, he left? Oh, well, there you go.
He left in 22.
Oh, well, see, so that's citywide rage bait then.
Yeah.
The lights go off. Then we see this, hear this music we've never heard before. But we see Anthony Bowens' name pop up on it, and then out comes with a massive pop Anthony Bowens with Billy Gunn right behind him.
That pop was huge.
It was absolutely huge. Gear looked amazing. The like superhero-esque top that he had going there was really cool looking. But it made all the sense in the world for this to be the guy to show up, because who's the person that's been taking the brunt of everything that Caster's had to say? Every time it was talking about how he was so much better than Bowens, and Bowens isn't here anymore, and he's tucked his tail and ran. Perfect opportunity for him to come in and basically do a squash match. He murdered that man. We got to see a new finisher for Bowens, because obviously we can't do the the scissor split or anything like that anymore, because you don't have the tag team
Scissor Me
side of it.
Timbers.
Yeah, scissor me timbers. There we go. We can't really do that. So you end up doing a rolling elbow shiver, which looked like it connected hard.
That was. Did you see the video of Max trying to crawl up the ramp?
I did. That's part of this. Just because this whole segment itself was just amazing. But we found out later that move is going to be called the Molly Wop, which I love it. Anything that brings me back some like 90s level words, I'm down. Let's do that. But yeah, just absolute squash. And then Bowens does a celebration. He leaves, and Caster is like inchworm crawling up the ramp after this, selling it. It just shows how much respect he has for Bowens. That he made it look like he just got murdered, on pay-per-view. And it was great. So where do we go with Bowens from here?
Honestly, we give him a few matches. I say a small feud with somebody, not huge. Um, Not sure who it would be,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually I think he runs after the TNT title.
I could see that.
Him and Adam Cole would be a great match.
It would be a great match. And hopefully we don't turn anybody. I'm tired of turning Adam Cole. Just leave him be for a little while. He's starting to turn into Big Show.
I
Um,
mean,
or you can put them in a tag team, Big Show and Littlest Show. Because he's smaller than the title. The little dude. Anyway, I think it's great for Bowens. I think Bowens, definitely is a talent that I don't think we got to see enough of. Because Caster, as much as people are giving him a lot of flack because of this character he's been playing, you have to keep in mind we were, 5th or 6th week of him going out there and doing that ridiculously long chant, and people were starting to chant at this point. So obviously he's entertaining enough that even as this heel annoying character, he's starting to get over with the crowd. So
it's such a bad gimmick that it's funny.
yeah. But so I think he's going to land on his feet. I don't think there's necessarily going to be a Marty situation in this tag team. I think this is going to me, this is going to be more like when they first started, I attributed it very much to the New Age Outlaws. And I think that's more what we're going to be. I think Caster's very much going to be the road dog. He's not going to be high level world champion level, but he'll hang around that mid card and get a couple of mid card titles. And
Bowens has a future as a world champ.
Absolutely, he's got the 100%. Look, he's got the charisma. Definitely has the chance to be.
He's got the in-ring game for it too. Oh, he's a much better in-ring performer than Caster.
Absolutely. But is he a better sports entertainer than Road Dogg? Words matter. I do want to throw it. On our next show, I'll make sure to have their name. But there's a father and son on TikTok who do don't talk until you hear someone better than this at this. So it's like until there's a better entertainer than. And the latest one they did is they did Penta. They said, don't speak until you see a better entertainer than Penta. And so the first one, I forget who it was. The second one was R-Truth. And I'm watching immediately going, that's it. You talk right there. That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't. A couple more went by, and then the dad talked when Braun Breaker came up, which I don't agree with that either. But that's a whole other conversation. But Heel Kev, which is a pretty big, prominent wrestling person on TikTok, he has now started to be tagged in those videos of people wanting his reaction of it, and so he plays it with them and then gives his reason of why he would have or would not have talked. And he said something that made all the sense in the world of the joke that I used to do, which is Road Dogg is a better sports entertainer than Bret Hart. And he said it's because you said the word entertainer. Words matter.
Bret is not entertaining.
No. He's a great wrestler. He'd be amazing in AEW. A little bit of shade there. My bad. Number 2, I want to talk about, do the Young Bucks hate swerving or do they hate AEW? So at the end of the AEW World Title match at Dynasty, which was Jon Moxley versus Swerve, great match. Not as violent as their previous ones have been, which I think was a good call. Because at some point you can't top it. So you need to take the step back and have it just be a fight or a wrestling match. Not that they weren't violent against each other, but there wasn't all the blood and the guts. And
right. The craziness.
So as it's ending up, what ends up happening is the Bucks come in and interfere. The lights go out, lights come back up. They're both holding an arm. V trigger to Swerve.
I'm gonna stop you right there. It's the EVP trigger, sir.
My apologies. The EVP trigger from the moderately aged Bucks, Matthew and Jackson.
Moderately.
Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. But so they come in, they give the EVP trigger. No words, no allegiance shown or anything. They just do that and they kind of walk out. They kind of keep an eye on the ending. So they see Mox pin and they see the 1, 2, 3 and they just kind of leave. First of all, I'm glad they're back. I think they've been missing on TV for a while. Hopefully this is going to get this story back on track. The question is, why? And I'm sure we're going to hear it tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to hear why they decided to do this. We'll get some long-winded promo from them.
Right. So,
but what do you think?
Their long-winded promo about it. I'm telling you right now, the why is anarchy in the arena. And I think we get it. We may get it at All In.
Well, that's the backstage why, right? That's because we're leading to that match, obviously.
Well, because remember before they left, they were shredding all those documents.
Right.
I'm guaranteing that it comes out that one of those documents was an agreement between them and Moxley.
And this is one of those. This is why I don't. When you and I try to talk about certain things, I always say, like, let's wait and talk about it. And you hadn't brought this up. I'm glad you didn't, because this would have been one of those topics. Because I want to show just kind of how on the same wavelength we are. I thought immediately they're a replacement for whatever the Shane McMahon story was. Shane McMahon being the head of whatever this was, to
higher power, whatever you want to call it.
We're now mixing that with the Vince NWO storyline. This is our baby. We're going to inject a poison, and we're going to kill it.
Except that I think this will be a lot more entertaining than that.
Well, yeah. Because at that point, all three of them were quite over the hill. And so, at least we have some, in shape people.
We have some young people.
Youngish.
Moderately aged.
Moderately aged.
I'm not sure what the on-screen reason's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It may be exactly what you said. This was ours. We didn't like where it was going, so we're doing something about it. It started with attacking Tony Khan. When that didn't work like they wanted to, now we're here.
Well,
here's the other question.
Yeah.
What happens with Jack Perry when he comes back?
It's a good question.
What do you do with him?
To me, you turn him face, and here's why. And sorry, just for hashtag Simon Miller. Here's why. I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna tag him. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the love. But anyway, so here's why. You have Jack Perry, who is the younger person in it. What was the original riot act that Mox was going off of? Which is, these younger guys don't know how to get it done. I'm going to show you how to get it done. The Bucks brought in Perry to get the job done. He couldn't get the job done.
Right.
So he comes in, tries to be buddy-buddy with them, and they're like, no. We tried to help you. And so he's not part of the group.
So, did you see the after show of Swerve backstage?
No.
It shows him walk up, and you kind of hear somebody walking towards him.
Oh, you're talking about the... okay, yeah, I did see this. Go ahead.
It's MVP. Well, if that's the case, and he's made a deal with the Hurt Syndicate to have his back...
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 3.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman's your 4th. Jack Perry would be your 5th.
Yeah.
If Darby's not healthy, because he maybe froze on a mountain. I don't know. I just thought I would point out you didn't update our YouTube name description for today. It still says something about Kid Bandit.
I hit update on all of it. I don't know why I didn't update.
Well, it doesn't, for some reason, it lied to you. So,
Okay. Well, I clicked it again. Hopefully that'll change on its own. If not, I'll change it after this.
whatever. I just thought I would point it out so
I
we didn't
appreciate
look
that
down.
for sure. Yeah, I mean it would make all the sense in the world for him to do a face turn. Plus, having him be face Jack Perry with this new attitude, I think could be fun. So that'd be kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
And my last one, Punk's favor is a broken heart story with Heyman right in the center. We find out on SmackDown what the favor was, we found out what the favor was. The favor was he wanted his friend, his best friend, and this is, if I saw the number right, it's 12 years in the making.
Something like that.
Because 12 years ago he did a promo with Paul, and it was when Paul was leaving. So like Paul wasn't on screen much longer after this until he came back to WWE later, and he's like, I've got to go, but I'm telling you right now, the moment you get that main event spot, the moment you become a WrestleMania main eventer, I want to be right there by your side, walking down the aisle with you, because I'm going to be there with you. And so he said, that's the favor. And Roman laughed that off. He's like, you don't understand. This man loves me. This man loves my family. He has been here through everything. Tell him no, wise man. Crickets. Looks a little concerned. Wise man, tell this man no so we can get on with this. And he has a little tremble in his voice. No, my tribal chief, I can't tell him no. Visibly upset, Roman Reigns grabs onto Paul Heyman, shakes him up a bit. Punk gets the jump on him, takes him out. We in SmackDown. Fast forward to Raw.
The best part of this whole... No, hold on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
The best part of that whole thing on SmackDown is Seth standing there laughing his ass off.
Oh, yeah. Because the architect
Laughing
he is, he's
his ass
already thinking.
Yep.
And then
Those wheels are already turning.
all that thinking brought us to Monday. Because Heyman comes out there and he's trying to, talk to the crowd about like how, I can't turn my back on Roman. I can't turn my back on my best friend. Like, and before he can really say what he's going to decide to do, Seth comes out. And says, look, Roman doesn't care about you. He left and then left you with a pack of animals. And did they take care of you?
Table.
Yeah, did they take care of you? No, they didn't. Okay? CM Punk left the company and left you behind. And did he take you with him? No. And when he came back and you were in this bloodline situation and you were getting put through a table, did he come help you? No. He doesn't love you. He's not your friend. So I think the best thing that can happen for this, and this is when, to me, Seth Rollins turns into the Joker level of just vehemently wanting to kill this man. The only way that this happens is if you take yourself out of it. And I would be honored. And on that word honored, you see the look on Paul Heyman's face.
It changed completely.
Because he went from just like sad to like, what the fuck did you just say? I would be honored to be the one to do it. It wouldn't take me long. A kick to the back of the head, a quick stomp, and you are a non-issue for WrestleMania. He puts his hands on Paul, says a few more words. Paul bucks up, which I love when he does that, because that's the thing. Like, we've seen the bagging on his heels, begging on his knees side of him. But people forget he's just a little punk from Jersey. We forget that. So he's got that I'm bigger than you. I don't give a shit what size I actually am. So he looks him straight in the face, has the mic in his hand. Don't you ever put your hands on me again, and tosses the mic. Seth says thank you. I don't understand why. I'm wondering if maybe he was supposed to hit him with the mic or something. Like, I don't know, but he like just threw the mic. So I don't know if that's what was supposed to happen. But so then he grabs him, pushes him in the corner, has done exactly what he wanted to do, which is to bring out Punk. Because he mentioned Roman's not here. Punk's not going to save you.
Yeah.
So we know Punk's there. This was all just to get him to come out. He comes out. They brawl. Seth gets the upper hand on it. Stomps Punk. Paul then rushes over to hover over his friend, make sure he's okay. Seth goes to do the stomp to him, but stops short.
It was the other side of that was when Seth saw him that way, he backed up a couple steps.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, okay, bet, here I come."
Mm-hmm.
And then he stopped short.
Yeah. Stops short, looks him straight in the face, and goes, "Now you owe me a favor."
Look, we have talked about this for a bit. A new faction. Now, obviously, Kevin Owens is out. I didn't hear what Kevin's injury was.
It is something back or neck related. And they're
Is he done?
So the reports that I've seen nothing concrete, but I have seen that they're saying could be like 5 to 7 years, depending on.
So he's done. If it's bad enough, he's done.
Sounds like it could be he's done.
If they don't keep that man around, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Because you want to talk about mind for the business. But we had talked about that group of
Seth
Drew
and Drew
and Kevin. And we were like, Seth and Drew would have to get on the same page here. But if you put Paul Heyman with them, ooh.
Mm-hmm. Well,
here's the other thing. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and so here's the thing that I think about, and I want to give credit to, damn it, I don't remember which one I heard it on. I heard it on another podcast. I'll just say that. So this wasn't my idea, but hearing them say this made me really think about it. When CM Punk was on that spot teetering between upper mid card and main eventer, they stuck Paul with him. Paul got him over that hump, and he became a main eventer. When we were all tired of Roman because he was being shoved down our throat, and none of us saw him as a main eventer, they stuck Paul with them and got him over that hump, and he became the biggest thing in fucking wrestling.
Yep.
If you put him with Seth, he will do the same thing. I guarantee it. He will get Seth over that hump because Seth's been a main eventer for a while, but he hasn't been the main eventer. He has been the guy you stick there.
Guy.
Yeah, he's the guy you stick there to hold this for a while, so we're not having 7 years of Roman.
Right. So if they did this and put Paul with Seth, first thing I do is send him after whoever has the WWE title.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Cena, orchestrate that, make that a thing. I don't send him after Jay because I hate to say this, Jay's not on Seth's level.
He's not, but I think that would be kind of the point. Plus, if it's Paul pulling the strings, you start taking out the bloodline, the people that hurt him.
You watch Seth plow through the bloodline. He starts with Tama,
which then brings them back together because now they have a common goal.
And then Seth starts picking up recruits. The other person, if you had to replace Kevin,
Sammy.
No.
Okay, who?
Ron Breaker.
I mean, that's not a bad call. Him just being a quiet badass in the back.
and with somebody like Paul in his corner, Paul doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But be there. Braun's not bad on a microphone. You can tell Daddy and Uncle gave him some lessons.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Scott gave him
but
lessons. I don't know what fuck that guy did.
no, fuck that guy didn't do nothing. So he's not bad on a microphone, but you put him with Paul for a year, his microphone skills go through the roof.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, he's got very much a Scott Steiner-esque.
He sounds like Scott.
Cadence. Scott was always best when he was the hype man you give the mic to for a minute. After it being in the hands of like a Kevin Nash or a Sting or a Kurt Angle or a Bubba Ray Dudley,
right?
They would hand the mic to him. He would do some crazy shit. Steiner Math kind of came out of that because it was Petey Williams doing the promo, and then he hands the mic to Big Papa Pump, and he does the Steiner Math shit.
Which was fucking hilarious.
Absolutely. Plus, so was Little Petey Pump. Little Petey Pump was hilarious.
So, last night during it was a brawl, a pull apart. I don't remember who it was.
What up, Big Mike?
Big Mike. I was watching him run down the ramp, and Petey fell.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why it made me laugh so hard to see him just eat it on the run to the ring.
I always enjoy it just for the simple fact that like they have to get up like nothing happened. So like, one of my favorite things was Eminem as a tag team, and she would get up there and do her splits, and there was that time that she slipped. And I couldn't help but crack up because, like, she's got to get back up there and do it again. You got to pretend like it didn't happen and just do it all over again. Yeah,
that's what it was. The New Day War Raiders.
Yeah.
So, first of all, we're getting that match at Mania with no holds barred or something
for sure.
It's going to be so good, and they're going to put the titles back on the New Day where they should be because they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. Well, and so, like, the thing about WrestleMania that you and I were talking about that I kind of want to bring up, and now that Big Mike's here, he can throw in his opinion. Absolutely. It seems to be that we have just, like, shotgunned 4 matches that should have been here this entire time out of nowhere. We're just like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to have Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americana, or whatever his name is, at WrestleMania. We're going to have New Day versus the Viking Raiders at WrestleMania. They announced...
They haven't officially announced the New Day match.
I thought they did. Did they not? Okay.
No.
Well, that's going to happen.
It's the speculation. Yeah. But the fact is, we're 2 weeks out, and you're just now putting this shit on the card?
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if that does come from the internet wrestling community, because a lot of people were complaining of like, look, we only have like 5 matches that you've told us about.
Yeah.
Where the shit is everything else? I understand like they're all multi-man matches, but they can't all be 30 minutes.
God, there's a lot of multi-person matches this year.
Yeah.
I know part of that is just the excess of talent.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
It'll end up being mask for mask. They'll do that.
Hold on. I do want to fantasy book just for a minute.
Okay.
They come out. They have the match. Whoever loses is fine. But before he loses, he goes under the ring. And someone else comes out with the mask on to show that it wasn't Chad Gable.
Except that you need to make it a really bad swap, like Brutus Creed or Julius Creed or something. Like, make it one of those two.
Fair enough.
Like, if you're going to make this stupid, make it stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it already is. But between the AI art for the background for his history of coming from the Gulf of America.
So apparently that has not gone over well with the Latino community in general.
Yeah, it was an odd choice to use that.
It was definitely a choice.
Yeah. Well, so was putting that comedian on commentary for him to the next day get roasted on Twitter for being there.
All he did was make fun of Michael Cole. If we wanted that, we could have just put Bailey on commentary.
Oh, that's funny.
It was Ivy Nile. That'd be hilarious.
If Ivy Nile came out front of the ring with the mask on.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny. Because Ray'd be like, wait, what?
That's great. I don't think that would fly. I think you'd notice a
But it'd
few
be
things
hilarious.
different.
All four of them come out with masks on, and Ray has to pick which one he wants to take the mask off, or something stupid. Like, there's an even number of ways you could do this to make it entertaining. Not that a match with Rey Mysterio is going to be entertaining,
Yeah.
but
just out there, uno, dos, tres. Which one is the face? But
oh shit.
It does seem to be so we normally have the Twitter topic. I don't really have a specific Twitter topic, but of course everybody is just talking about WrestleMania because like we're 2 weeks away. We're on the road and we're almost there. What are you thinking about the card right now?
Okay. Do we have the actual card?
I can look it up real quick.
Like, I'm curious what the official matches are right now.
All right, so WrestleMania 41 currently. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. United States Champion LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn versus Dominic.
So Jacob Fatu getting a title.
Yeah, that's happening.
Braun's dropping that title too, and I think Dom's winning it. I think Dom is pinning Finn to win it.
I don't disagree. I think that's the way you go with that.
They're not putting that title on Penta.
Well, and to me, it's a very easy way. Have Braun spear Finn out of his boots. Dominic rolls in, throws Braun just out,
or
takes the cover
when he gets on top for the pin. Dominic frog splashes him, throws him out of the way, and pins Finn.
That too.
Okay, so go on.
AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I know.
Dom winning the title would be amazing. Look, I was a Dom hater when he first came out. I love Dom.
I hate to make Sped right. I know. It's a horrible thought. But
oh wait, did Sped say that was going to happen?
Well, no, just Sped's a Dom guy. Like he's.
Oh, then I'm changing my pick.
Just kidding, Sped. We love you.
Oh yeah, just kidding. I really do think Dom is winning. So
AJ Styles versus Logan Paul.
I hate it, but that match is gonna fucking cook.
It is. I do think one thing that is gonna happen for sure. I don't know who's gonna win it. Logan has lost like every fucking match he's been in, so it would only make sense for him to win at some point. And AJ Styles wouldn't hurt from the loss if they do it right.
I think he wins it because of Karrion Kross.
That could be. I do think they're going to try to recreate the Ricochet moment because they can't. Yeah, because they can't show that moment now because Ricochet's on the other channel.
They do though.
It would be an easy way to switch it. If they have him and AJ collide in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Cut that out, put that in. Now it's both our guys.
Possibly.
WWE Women's Champion Tiffany versus Charlotte Flair. In case anybody was confused on which Charlotte we're talking about.
0-3 Charlotte Flair. I can't say anything. I'm 0-3 too, so I can say it.
Damn. I'm 0-1, then I retired.
I'm about to be 1-4 though.
Well done. Well done. I will clip this. I'll send it to her.
She'd laugh her ass off.
But yeah, so Tiffany versus Charlotte. I personally think Tiffany. It's
Yeah.
a handoff moment. Try to
I
bring
don't think
her
Charlotte likes it. It's a handoff moment, and that's part of the problem.
possibly because there's obviously some real contention there. Which Big Mike, go back and look at it. We talked about that a little earlier. I'm sure you guys have talked about it too. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Jey Uso.
Jay.
Yeah, that's the most foregone conclusion out of the whole thing is we give it to Jay, have him run with it for a bit, see how that goes, especially with this new attitude. If we can kind of mix the Yeet Man with main event Jey Uso, and
If we heal Jay up, like turn him heel from this, put him with Seth.
not a bad idea. Maybe that's what Paul recommends as a headhunting maneuver is not taking him out but bringing him in. That's not a bad point. Women's World Champion Io Sky, which hold on just real quick. Io Sky for that contract signing. My God. That's all I'm going to say.
First of all, hold on. You can't talk about Io like that and not mention how fucking amazing Bianca looked.
No.
Like
which
that whole.
I already shouted her out on Twitter because that gear written EST, that was amazing. That needs to be a thing.
I'm calling it right now. Io's keeping that title. I think it was going to be Bianca. I think Io might keep the title.
I think she should. The way they played this entire time, I think they should keep it on her.
Rhea doesn't need the title.
No.
If you're heel turning Bianca, then putting the title on her makes sense. But that's only if you are going to full on heel.
Mm-hmm.
Like full on heel turn Bianca. And I put her, even if whether she wins the title or not, I put her with the Profits.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't think Rhea gets it just for a simple fact of I think we need to spend the next year of her getting to the other brand. And we lead up to her and Charlotte next WrestleMania.
If Io doesn't win, she should leave the WWE?
I mean, I don't entirely disagree with that. Because it means that they obviously don't see her in that role.
If they don't see her in that role, why was the title change needed? Because you could have done all of this with Io. Oh, I 100%. You're not wrong.
I have an answer for that. Because someone's got to take the pin.
You still could have had Io get involved.
But then
you could have done everything.
But then she's still part of the match, though. You give the feel-good moment of giving her the belt for a little bit.
Oh.
Leading up to her getting pinned at
That's right.
WrestleMania.
You're not wrong. Okay.
Yeah, it sucks. But so just so you understand, Big Mike, we talked a little bit earlier about TJP because he's announced that he's not going to sign back with New Japan, and so I specifically said I don't want him to go to E because I don't think he fits that dynamic. To me, Io's never fitted either. As much as I hate to say it, they've never gotten her right. We've stuck her with people.
First of all, changing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we keep sticking her with people, and no fault of hers or theirs or anybody's. Those people keep getting hurt, and then she's stuck by herself still, and she doesn't have that mouthpiece. She doesn't have someone to get that part of it over. Because Americans are dumb, and if you have an accent that we can't understand, we immediately do not want to give you any credit. I'm not one of those people, but I'm just saying that as a generalization of America, that's what ends up happening. That's why Shinsuke can't get over. That's why,
which is crazy because
Andrade can't get over. Because you have these situations where just people can't get past that. So, we haven't found a good mouthpiece to stick with her or anything. Like, it just, he's not getting over, unfortunately. Roman versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins.
Seth. I know that Seth came in and stole that title win. This is Seth's big Mania win. I think Punk, I could make a case for Punk to win it.
Mhm.
It makes more sense for Seth to win it.
It does. I will say I agree with Bully Ray. On their podcast, he said, if Paul Heyman sides with Roman and sticks with Roman, same thing, different day. If he screws over Roman and sides with Punk, same thing, different day. The way you make that a major issue, a major announcement, a major swerve, you stick Paul with Seth. That changes everything. And it renews Seth's lease on wrestling, and it renews Paul. Because let's be clear, Paul is the wise man, starting to get a little stale. Taking him back with Punk doesn't make any sense. Punk needed him to get him over that hump. He's over that hump now. He doesn't need Paul anymore. Having just two good talkers on the mic just means that it can be a 30-minute promo instead of 15.
Well, and Seth doesn't need a mouthpiece. But putting Paul with him is not a bad thing.
No.
So,
All right, final match. Undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes versus John Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah.
People aren't going to like it. This is what needs to happen.
Yeah. I don't know how it happens, though. Like, to me, this new John Cena, there has to be some shenanigans to it. Because if you think about it, so what's the number one thing he always talked about here lately in promos is the fact that he couldn't get a win. Good guy John Cena for the last 5 years couldn't get a win. So shady John Cena gets a win. It's got to be shady.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be just on his morals.
I think it's The Rock gets involved.
Could be. Because that's the whole thing, right? Like, he sold his soul to The Rock. Rock's got to do something to help him out. Maybe he has a whole crew behind him. Who knows? Maybe he's Owen Hart in the Nation.
No, we didn't need to do that.
We have the new bloodline, and he's out
We
there
didn't need
saying
to.
he's not
No,
a nugget.
we don't need to do that.
No?
No.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Whoa! No?
No. No. No.
Okay.
We're not doing that.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't even like Cena, and we're not comparing him to the 2-time Slammy Award-winning Owen Hart. No.
I am not a nugget.
That was still the funniest shit ever.
Damn it!
So, oh God.
I loved Owen Hart.
That kid's imitation of him was amazing too.
Jason Sensation. They should have done more with him. He should still be around today. Is he still doing it? Like, you can catch clips every once in a while of him on Twitter doing it still. A lot of fun. But anyway, that's my 3 count. That's us talking about Twitter. That's us doing the news. We've talked about ourselves a little bit, stroked our own egos. So that's always fun. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I've just been kind of seeing what was going on with NXT, and I've missed a bunch of stuff, and so I don't know what's happening. Wait. First of all, do you follow Kate from Fightful on Twitter?
No.
She's hilarious.
Okay.
Fightful posted Stephanie McCool wants Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace to stand and deliver. Kate retweeted and said, "About time we got a multi-person match for Mania weekend."
Fair enough.
That's amazing.
Hey, Stephanie McGurr went on a podcast and they asked her to name that move, um, the one that makes Booker T go crazy. And apparently, in training, Matt Bloom had called it the Devil's Kiss, and so she's gonna keep that. So that's the name of that move now. I think that is hilarious. Um, just kind of looking forward to NXT. So who do we think the dark side is with?
Trick.
You think it's with Trick? I mean, it makes sense, right?
I think they get involved at Stand and Deliver to help Trick win the title.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole Trick heel turn that's the official heel turn.
Yeah.
I my only problem is Javon called him out for basically being mellow.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have told him stay away from that because you called him out for being exactly what he's doing, which is being mellow.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this will make that claim much more prominent.
Yeah. I can see that.
I won't be surprised if Oba loses and shows up Monday.
I don't. You're talking about the Monday after Mania? Yeah.
And I think he comes out and just absolutely wrecks somebody.
Yeah. Looks like another maybe multi-man match we're gonna have is Eddie Thorpe and Wesley and Alexis King versus Ricky Saints. So.
Eddie Thorpe dropped a white man coming in to claim something that isn't his comment on Alexis King. And I'm like,
oh shit.
I get why he said it. No, don't bring that. Let's
not do that.
With a business that has such a history of racism, don't do that.
Yeah. Well, especially because you're going to lose. If he was going to win at the end of it,
you're probably going to eat the L too.
Yeah, because looking at the people in that ring, he's the one who's probably going to get the L. All right, well, don't touch that dial. This one's full of laughs, twists, and enough big words to keep your dictionary sweating. When a regional spelling bee turns cutthroat, things get way too serious and deadly. Sean and Gus step in to solve the mysterious death of the Spellmaster himself. Was it foul play, or was it just a vocabulary word gone wrong? Don't touch that dial. Psych is coming up next. Such a good show.
It was such a good show. Love that show.
They've talked about coming back. Of course, everything's
They're talking about doing like a fourth movie.
Yeah, I mean, everything's coming back. We got Suits that came back again, and we got.
I need to catch up. I think I'm like 2 episodes. I think I'm 1 episode behind.
Ted Lasso coming back for another season.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Have you got to watch any of the Stephanie McMahon places?
I haven't watched it.
I'm gonna recommend it. I watched both of the current episodes. They got a new one that's gonna be coming up here soon with Rhea Ripley. Talking about the her starting in NXT and like her growth to who she is now, which I think is gonna be a lot of fun. Plus, you get to see. I guess they're gonna do an entrance, and Steph's gonna be a part of it. And she's
gonna dressed... she does, yeah, the makeup and everything. Did you see Jasmine Nix hit a perfect press and roll it over into a submission?
I did not.
Okay, and I don't know what the name of the submission is, but it's basically a bridge STF.
Okay.
Like, she hits the perfect plex, soul kicked out. She rolled over so they're both on their stomach. Such a good show.
It is.
And then Jasmine basically, it almost looks like a cattle mutilation, only it's a headlock instead of the arms.
Okay.
It's a nice little bit of business.
Yeah. Sounds like it'd be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at that and check it out. Yeah. I think we're done for the night. How about you?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Well,
Big Mike, we always appreciate you. Always
absolutely.
appreciate you.
Much love. Can't wait to catch all of the like 337 episodes of shows you have between now and WrestleMania. I'll try to catch as much of them as I can.
I don't know how
Um,
much I'll catch because Mary's off starting Thursday evening. I'm off all day Friday. I have my MRI Friday on my shoulder,
oh goodness.
and then we're doing all that stuff Saturday for my birthday. So,
Do we need to just skip Thursday?
nah, we're not doing that till late. It's fine.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, you can. Well, you got a lot on your plate this week. Um,
It's good.
but anyway, yeah, definitely go watch in. Our friends, the Running Wrestling Pod, they're doing a bunch of stuff. Big Mike, who's in the chat, he's doing a lot of stuff with Princess Skywalker over at the Lowdown and Chairshot Sports with John A. So got a lot of stuff going on. Watch all his stuff. But more importantly, follow us. Do that thing. Hit all the likes, hit all the bells, lights, bells, and whistles. That way you can know what's going on, when it's happening, and when we're going to be talking. Because here we are, two middle-aged people telling you what you need to watch in wrestling. So keep all that in mind. In the meantime and in between time, we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out.